Man, I couldn't have said it any better. I mean, the thing that you hit right on the head is when you said it's not okay to be promiscuous. It's not okay to be a whore. It's not okay to be a freak unless you're being a freak for your man, your husband. I mean, all that other stuff, it's not okay. And, it's very simple. Respectability, a lack of respectability is the main reason why so many women are single. Now, everybody wants to say, oh, it's a double standard. Men do this and men do that. Yes, there is a double standard. Men do a lot of hoish things, but understand, because a man is a hoe, you don't have to be a hoe. You don't do what a man does. You don't bring yourself down to that man's level. You respect yourself, and then the best man for you will arise from all the other hoish men out there, and he will love and respect you because of the choices that you made. Understand that everything that you do, if it's found out about, somebody's going to be judging you. Everybody wants to say, oh, only God can judge me. That's not true. People judge you every single day upon your actions. So as soon as you understand that you are going to be judged and people are going to put you in a certain box and category because of your actions, then you'll be better off. And the best way to put yourself in the right box is to respect yourself. As Dedan said, can't say it any better. It's not okay to be a hoe. It's not okay to be promiscuous. And it's not okay to disrespect your own body.
Right, and we're not telling you how to live your lives. Be clear about that. Y'all are grown. But, again, if you want the best possible man, because what's going on is, let me just tell y'all what's going on. A lot of women, I hear a lot of this, they say, well, Dedan, I've had some sex, and I know women who've had a lot of sex, but they get married. Everybody, you can get married just because you had a lot. Guess what? Why do you think the divorce rate is the way that it is? And I see a couple calls. I'm going to take a couple calls in a second. If you have a call right now, hit the number 1 on your keypad or call in 646-200-0366. I want to hear what y'all have to say. I'm going to take some calls for a few minutes. But a lot of y'all, don't understand. That's why the divorce rate is so high. That is why these men, because they're cheating on you. That means they're not good men. You feel what I'm saying? You wilded out. You got this crazy past, and you just happen to get a man to say, what the hell, let me wife this chick up. But you're divorced in 2 years. I wonder why. He's not an elite man. Elite men know what to do how to treat a woman. They know what to do to build a household, to build a family. They know how to, keep things together. These average dudes, average men dating average women, it's not going to work out. You feel what I'm saying? Matter of fact, I said something online that my father taught me as a child. I'm just going to read it. I said, growing up, my dad always used to tell me that in a relationship, 1 + 1 must equal more than 2. If it doesn't, that means you're not uplifting each other and not bringing anything productive to the relationship. The key to a great relationship is finding someone who makes you better. And that's real right there. You feel what I'm saying? A lot of y'all, it's just 1 + 1. It's just two miserable people. But unless you're bringing something that makes you more than one, that person's bringing something that makes him more than one, 1 + 1 must equal more than 2. If not, it'll fail. So, just keep that in mind. But the reality is, you cannot. Some of y'all ladies, you will go to a party and you will have sex with a man that same night. Some of y'all women will go out, you will have let 2 niggas run a train on you. You know what I mean? You call it a threesome. He's calling it a train, videotaping you on the low. You wear these short-ass skirts, and you're having sex with these men in bathrooms. Some of you are football team groupies. Some of you are fraternity groupies. Trust me, I'm not talking out of my ass. I've been to college. I'm in a frat. I've played sports. Trust me, this stuff goes on. You feel what I'm saying? There are women who are literal whores. You feel what I'm saying? Like, who will have sex with you just off a look. Take you right into a back alley and have sex with you like it ain't nothing. Black women probably listening. Some of y'all have done that stuff. So, but then, you get these people in these Nightline specials wondering why they can't find a good man. Well, what type of man would want a woman who would do that type of stuff? See, that's another thing. Y'all think it's what type of man would want a woman who does that type of stuff. But it doesn't stop there. It's what type of man wants a woman who ever did those types of things. That's what y'all don't get. Some of y'all think that, oh, well, I'm not that way anymore. My wild days are behind me. and he should love me for who I am now, not who I used to be. Guess what? That's wishful thinking. That's not how the game works. You know what I'm saying? Just nobody wants a car that's been in an accident. Have you ever bought a car with one of those titles that says, oh, this car was refurbished or broken down in a new trend? No, you want a car with no problems, with a clean title. Doesn't matter if the car runs good or not. You're not going to buy a car that's been in an accident before. Unless you got it at an extremely cheap price, which in that case you would call that a cheap car. That's not a good car. You got a good deal on it, so you bought it. It doesn't mean it's a good car. Some of y'all women are not good women. You feel what I'm saying? These men just got you at a cheap price. We just said, what the hell? I'm getting older. Let me go ahead and wife her up. That doesn't mean we... Let me stop right there. I'm just being real with y'all. Y'all know what I'm saying. That's why the phone lines aren't lit up. Gerald, this stuff is crazy, man. I mean, you wrote the book. You talk about this stuff. You've been to college. You know what's going on out here. Help the ladies understand what I'm talking about.
I mean, as you said, Dedan, I mean, it's absolutely crazy about some of the things that go on. And what's really funny is, ladies don't even realize it until it's too late sometimes. You want to say things along the lines of, I did it with a man did it to me, a man made me this way, and you want to blame all of these men, but what you have to understand is, just like there are different type of women in the world, there are different type of men in the world. So if you run across a bad man who does bad things to you and fools your head and makes you do crazy things, you have to understand that a good man is not going to feel sorry for you. He's not going to say, well, okay, he did that to you. You were young and naive. No, a good man is going to want the best of the best, and he's going to want someone who didn't make those types of decisions and those type of choices or mistakes. So it's just something that you have to keep in mind. I mean, men, there are good men, there are bad men. You can't fall in line with the bad men and expect the good men to come and make everything better.
That's, exactly. And a lot of women, there's a lot of wishful thinking going on. There's a lot of, that's not how it should be. That's not how it could be. And I swear to y'all, I think I used that analogy about me being able to go to the park and not be bit up by mosquitoes. We made the mistake of freaking leaving the patio door in our villa open all night just for some fresh air, and the mosquitoes literally destroyed me the whole first night. We had a whole war with the mosquitoes so I think they were mad at me. But, I mean, the point is, I should be able to go away on vacation, not have to worry about mosquitoes. I should be able to go to the park and not be, you know what I'm saying? That's not reality. You feel what I'm saying? That's what's going to happen. Yes, a woman should be able to have a past and a man meet her when she's 30 and him not question her about her past or him not care about what she did back in the day. That is not realistic. That is wishful thinking. No man wants to feel like he's with a whore or someone who used to be a whore or someone who let men run trains on her or a woman who is the type who would have just meet somebody at a party and sneak into the bathroom and have sex with them. Who wants to marry a woman who would even do that once? Who wants to marry a woman with those types of morals or lack thereof? So I say all that to say, I'm giving you a blueprint. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving you a blueprint on what these elite men look for in a woman. I promise you, any woman who disagrees with what we're saying, you feel what I'm saying? See, real quick, I'm going to take the calls. I see some calls. You know what I mean? The thing about it is that you don't hear too many women who are married or in successful committed relationships feeling the need to debate. The only women who feel the need to debate are women who are living or have lived these exact lifestyles of which I speak about, of which Gerald speaks about. Why? I mean, seriously. I mean, we're all adults here. Why else would someone have a problem with what we're saying? We're not bashing women. We're telling you what the best men of the world look for when they're trying to figure out who they're going to wife up. If you have a problem with that, most likely that means you're not that, but you want to be that. So you're not debating with what I'm saying. You're debating with how you would want it to be in a perfect world. But guess what? We don't live in a perfect world, and some people have to figure out that the hard way. But when you're 35 and single, you know what I mean, you'll eventually, and people have. I've gotten a 40-year-old. Matter of fact, I'm gonna read something from a 40-year-old. She said, "Dedan, I'm 40 years old, and I'm still learning from you. I thank you for doing what you do. You've changed my life. I'm changing people's lives at 40 years old. It is what it is. Let's go to the lines. See a couple people from Philly, 267-687 area code. Welcome to the Dedan Tolbert Show.
Hello.
Are you there? Yes, hello from Philly. Welcome to the Dedan Tolbert Show.
Hi. I'm surprised I got on.
It's the realest show in America. I'll take calls from anybody. What's your thoughts tonight?
Well, I actually wanted to get more into the bad attitudes, like the thing with the hoes. Like, I'm not even going to touch on that, but I just wanted to talk about the negative attitudes that some black women possess, because that is a really big issue. And hello?
Yes.
In our community, and me and my fiance, we were talking about that's one of the big things that turns a lot of black men off, is that attitude, and sometimes women who have multiple children. So I think that's like one of the big issues in our community. I don't know about the whole thing, because as far as the whole thing, most women who was kind of on the whole thing in college, it was such a slim minority of black women who were hoes. So I don't really, I really can't talk about that.
Oh, real quick. We'll talk about what you want to talk about, but trust me, and Gerald will tell you the same thing. It's not the minority. It's not at all the minority. The majority in college, the majority, and I've been to college, I'm in a frat, trust me, I know what I'm talking about.
Right.
These women will have sex with you. It's nothing.
Not to cut you off, I'm sorry, go ahead.
No, go ahead. No, please, I'm just letting you know.
That's because from my college experience and from my future husband's experience and also my brother's experience, they didn't really have that issue with, women being hoes. It was mostly, it was such a small percentage of women in college, black women in college being hoes, that wasn't really an issue. And I'm just thinking, I don't know how old you are, but I'm just not really focusing on the women who are truly hoes, because obviously I would think that those women are pretty lost.
Well, how would
But the majority of the black women that I know are not really hoes. I think they make bad decisions when it comes to meeting a mate or, selecting a guy to get married to. They put all their emphasis in a guy who's not really marriage material.
Let me focus on that for a second. Let me respond to this for a second, because it's first of all, you're a woman, so you really wouldn't know. Like, if you ask a man, like if you tune into like Barbershop Talk Tuesdays where I have men, we'll tell you, no woman that we've ever dated, probably with the exception of my fiance, has made a man wait more than 2 weeks to have sex with her. You feel what I'm saying? It's so prevalent, and I'm not calling these women hoes. I'm saying they exhibit hoish behavior, meaning they'll have sex with you like it's nothing. That's if you didn't do that, or trust me, and I'm 32 years old. I've done everything. I know what's out there. That you are and your people are the minority. But
I don't know, and also it might be something like, as far as going to, I don't want to say this, certain schools maybe have that reputation of being oversexed or just sexually active, but for the most part, I even got this information from my husband right now. He was just that really wasn't an issue. Like, most women who was like that was just a very slim, and they were just put in the category automatically. And even when I talked to my brother, that really wasn't an issue for most of the guys on campus. Like I said, it might depend on your own reality or what school you went to, but for the most part, and I don't want to get into argument about that, because your perspective is different from mine. But I don't know. For the most part, in college, most black women really weren't hoes in my experience. And from the experience of the guys that I know. Let me.
I'm gonna let Gerald respond to that for a quick second, but it's interesting. I appreciate the call. I do appreciate the call, and I do want to address your issue about attitudes. But ladies listening across the country, fellas already know. I mean, I'm not sure what school you went to or what their experience was like, but that's why I was talking about the book When No Means Yes, which really it does, and even my book, The Love We Had, both are based on college campuses and show very vividly how easy it is and how prevalent it is to, for sexual behavior existing among black women. It's even now, outside of college. I mean, me personally, I could go out anywhere, probably meet a woman and have sex with her within couple hours. That's just, if that's what I so chose to do. Trust me. Don't anyone across America, I hear her, but don't think that what she's saying is an accurate depiction of what's going on out here. The vast majority of black women out here women, period. You go to some of these white bars, just women, period. We live in a very sexual society, bottom line. People aren't waiting to have sex. So maybe where we're getting, off track is the definition of hoish behavior. Maybe that's it. But I consider it, sleeping around, being promiscuous. That's hoish behavior, male or female. And most women, I think we can be honest, are having sex. Gerald, what would your response be to our caller and her views on society as it relates to black women and their sexuality?
You can pretty much ask any woman. You can do a poll, your own personal poll, and go up to 10 women, and if they're honest with you, when you ask them, they'll give you a pretty high number of men that they've slept with. And in most cases, and I can just say this from personal experience, this is what I do, speak to women and men every single day. But in most cases, what happens, when that happens, that promiscuous behavior happens, is in college. So, I don't know what college she went to. It really doesn't matter the college you go to, because that's when most people wild out. Now, you do have a lot of people on the college campuses who, they're good at hiding it, good at covering it up. Everybody's not out there like that, just parading it about. But on those college campuses, white campuses, black campuses, it really doesn't matter. That's where pretty much most of the promiscuous behavior gets started. So I don't know her brothers personally. Maybe they were people who pretty much kept to themselves. But if you had any type of extensive social activities or whatnot, if you were going to parties, clubs, or just hanging out, being about, then you would see it and you would know exactly what's going on. In any college, I don't care which one. I go to 30 different colleges every single year, and the fellas talk, the women talk. It's out there, and it's all about understanding that the things that you do in college, if people find out about them, and who's to say what's promiscuous, the person to say is the person who you want to be with. If that person that you want to be with in the future looks at your past behavior as promiscuous and they have an issue with that, and in most cases they will, then, what can you do about it? And that's why on this show what we're trying to do is, some people have already made that mistake, and that can't be changed. We understand that. You just have to continue to live your life. But what we're trying to do in this case is touch the people who haven't made those mistakes. Because we have a lot of young listeners who listen in. Touch those people and let them know that, it's cool to respect your body, like we said earlier. You don't have to be promiscuous to get a man. You don't have to give your body up. In the long run, a man is going to respect you more for what you don't do with your body than what you do with your body.
That's 100% true. And like you said, I've been on college campuses where like white college campuses where it was a small black percentage of black women, but we're talking about maybe 3,000-4,000, and the vast majority of those women participated in trains, orgies, organized by fraternities, just all types of sexual games. I'm talking about the vast majority of them. Now, again, if you were the type of woman who didn't do that thing or that wasn't your thing, then you were considered the minority. But that was the culture of the campus. I'm not even talking about some of these black colleges. You already know what goes on. So I'm again like Gerald. I'm not sure what your brothers or whoever's personal experience was or your. Trust me, we live in a very sexual society where the vast majority of black women are having sex with someone. Or let me say this, they're exhibiting behavior that would be considered, hoish behavior, or considered behavior that would take away that respectability factor that is so necessary for a black man to put a ring on your finger or give you a commitment. So either way, something's going on out here that black women are doing. We can play the blame game if y'all want to, but there's certain things that you guys do that play a huge part in, your situations and your circumstances. Now, I want to talk about what she said about attitude. I wanted to revisit that because that was actually one of the next points that I wanted to get into. And again, this is Ask Dedan Advice Mondays, but you already know how we get on Mondays, and I've been going out, so many things to talk about. I do have some advice questions that I want to get to, but be clear. This, I don't know if y'all appreciate this or like you should or not, But this, what we're talking about right now, is the most important information that really just a black woman, period, could get. Seriously, you're not going to find this information in any book, unless it's mine, or you know what I mean, or unless it's like When No Means Yes. Because I've never, you know what I'm saying? Seriously, I don't even want to mention Act Like a Lady, but this stuff, nothing that we've talked about is in that book, the #1 relationship book in the world. So the point is, just listen. Listen with an open mind. There's a reason why people aren't talking about this stuff. There's a lot. I'm into conspiracy theories. I like, thinking outside the box. And, people don't talk about the most important things because they're unpopular. This show, Black Women and Attitudes, you can't get more unpopular than that. Although I can't tell by the chat room, I can't tell by the phone lines, but people don't want to talk about this stuff on a large scale because it's so true. Now, one of the things I said on Facebook, and I just happened to be thinking, I just threw it up there, I said, women claim that black men are such bad communicators, but when black women have an attitude, you guys are really quick to do things like give the silent treatment. You ignore our calls. You ignore our visits. You quick to tell somebody off, doing the whole, snapping the fingers thing. When you talk about communication, it's like black men get this bad rap for not being able to express themselves. But a lot of times when y'all get mad, y'all don't really be communicating like that. You know what I'm saying? Y'all quick to, hey, what's wrong? Nothing. Nothing's wrong. Calling you. Oh, y'all just ignoring the call, sent straight to voicemail. Popping up at the crib. Y'all don't want to answer the door to talk. That's not cool. Black, don't get it twisted. Elite black men are very good communicators. You know what I'm saying? Some of these thug niggas may not want to talk because they're only interested in having sex with you and bending you over and using you for your sex. So, of course, they're not going to want to talk about their problems because they don't care about their problems. They just care about the sex. But when you got a good man who really gives a damn about you, we'll talk. You feel what I'm saying? And if we can't talk to you, then we don't want to be with you. That's what y'all think these attitudes are cute. You think they're sexy. There's nothing sexy about it. We get a woman with an attitude, we will use you just for sex. I'm just being real with you. That's not right, but it's real. That's what happens. Some of y'all think it's so cute to put your nose up in the air and this and that, but you think it's cool to walk by us with some tights on and not speak and just have this. You think that attitude is cute? You know what happens to women with nice bodies and nice butts and nice breasts, but they have these nasty attitudes. You know what happens? They get taken home, or they do what they need to do to have sex with them, and then that's it. They never call them again, and then y'all wonder why you got dog. Oh my God, why didn't he call me? Because see, what happens is they break that wall down. Because trust me, I know, believe me, I know what I'm talking about. Y'all had these walls up, most likely caused by other men, and we see those walls, and we say, damn, let me break this chick down. Let me break that tough. Oh, she thinks she's tough. Let me show her how not tough she is. We break that wall down slowly but surely. Sometimes it takes longer than others for certain women, but once we get it, we don't forget how we met you. Just because you go through a transformation of having this wall up, and then over time lessening that wall or lowering that wall, and letting your true self shine through, and then you become vulnerable, and that's when you give up the sex. Well, what happens is we don't forget that initial attitude that you showed us in the beginning. So once we get that sex, it's over, and you're not being called again. And then so that's why it's become such it's like a train wreck waiting to happen. You're like all emotionally open, and these men are like, oh, you had an attitude. Oh, it's on to the next one. And that's why a lot of y'all are so bitter. You feel used and abused and taken advantage of. You gave yourself to somebody sexually, and he never called you again, or he showed you his ass to kiss after that, and you can't figure out why. Well, maybe, just maybe, did you think about that maybe it could have been the attitude that you had when he first met you? I don't know. You tell me. I don't know. Maybe that's, you know what I mean? But trust me, that's been my experience. That's been Gerald's experience. That's been hundreds of thousands of black men's experiences. But only thing is women don't see it that way. Y'all are so busy pointing the finger, you don't want to talk about why you got dogged. You just want to talk about, oh, men are dogs. But first of all, men can't dog you if you don't have sex with them. You feel what I'm saying, ladies? The reason you're getting dogged a lot of times, not all, but it's because of that nasty attitude that you have. And this is, once women get that through their heads, because real quick, before I go to Gerald, real quick, again, going back to the Dominican Republic, let's just think about it logically. Why would we, wife you up, commit to you, change our Facebook status when you have a nasty attitude? You know what I mean? When we could have a woman who looks just as good, if not better than you, who also has a great attitude to go along with it. I don't get it. That just doesn't make sense to me. That's not logical. It just doesn't make sense. And a lot of y'all women think it's cute to have these attitudes. I'm not going to sugarcoat this stuff. I'm telling y'all straight up. I saw some of the most beautiful women I've ever seen in my life over the last week. So again, I don't know if people are not going to like this, but none of you. I've never seen a woman who in the United States who look better than some of these women. I'm just being real. So there's no reason for y'all to have these attitudes like you look so great. I'm just being honest. I keep it real. Gerald, man, what are your thoughts?
Well, a couple things that I think need to be further dissected upon what you just said. One is the fact that men do hold grudges. I mean, they may not show it the same way that ladies show it. They're not going to be vindictive about it a lot of times, especially if they don't really care about you. As Dedan said, what men will do is you have that attitude with him at the beginning. He'll act all nice and sweet and try to be a comforter and break down your walls and whatnot. But he will remember that attitude that you showed him, and from the onset, from the point of that attitude, he goes and he says to himself, you know what? I'm going to break her. I'm going to use her. I'm going to have sex with her, and then once I get it, I'm going to be out. So understand that men can be very deceptive and can be just cruel, and that's why it's so important that you be the best person that you can be, because when you exude a great, humble personality and you're a good person, you're less likely to be taken advantage of by a man. He's less likely to want to actually hurt you, I should say. And another thing that has to be touched on is, Dedan just said, if a man really cares about you, he's going to want to try and communicate with you. Ladies, understand, if you're in a relationship with a man and he is openly trying to communicate with you, if he is coming to your place, he's calling your phone, and you're hanging up the phone, you're not taking his calls or telling him not to come over, that's one of the worst things you can do, because just know that most men aren't very good at communicating. So for him to even be setting forth the effort to communicate to you and for you to shut him down like that, he's going to turn to one or two places. He's going to go to one of his boys and talk about it. That's probably going to make the situation worse. Or he's going to go, in most cases, to another female to talk about it. And that's definitely going to make the situation worse. So it's like a no-win situation for you in that way. And when you're upset and you're mad and you're angry, it's okay to cool off by yourself, but you still have to keep the lines of communication open. You still have to say, you know what, I love you, I care about you, but right now I just need to have a little time to myself right now. Or I'll try and work it out one way or the other, but don't ever just cut off the lines of communication, because I guarantee you, if a man that cares about you is trying to communicate with you and you cut it off, a lot of that emotion and the feelings that he has for you, it's going to disappear, and it's going to be going towards somebody else.
Wow, and there's a great example of that in When No Means Yes. Exactly what we're talking about, and it's one of the most realistic things that I've ever read, is an example of that in The Love We Had. This is what men, this is not right, but just to be even more real, a lot of y'all think it's cute to not speak. Oh, he's calling you, blowing you up. You send him the voicemail. He's banging on your door. You're not answering the door. You know where he's going, when he leaves your crib? He's calling to jump off, calling his ex. I'm just being honest. It's not right, but I'm trying to help y'all understand what really goes on out here. So y'all can do it if you want to. Just understand your man probably will be having sex with somebody else that night that you're not answering his calls. So the best thing for you to do, work it out. There's that old phrase, never go to bed mad. Some of y'all, I'm not speaking to him right now. Oh, you, ladies, you're not in control. You may think that you are. You may think that it's cute to know we're not speaking. Okay, somebody's speaking to him. You might not be, but somebody is. You know what I mean? So, and it's unfortunate that women, it takes them a longer time to understand why they do the things because we see this stuff clearly. We see it from both perspectives. We're trying to help you guys avoid these things. Now, one of the things we're going to be talking about tomorrow is the movie Meet the Browns. We're going to be doing barbershop talk to talk about why women do these things. Because a lot of women have great men, but they just don't appreciate them. You feel what I'm saying? And the reason is because they're so used to being dogged. They're so used to being done dirty that when they meet, it's kind of like a dog, a homeless dog who's been hungry and been beaten and abused. You get a good Samaritan walking on. He says, "Hey, come here, doggy. Let me give you something to eat." He's so used to being abused and punched in the face, he might bite that hand that's trying to give him a little meal. And that's what a lot of you women do. You've been so hurt and abused by these men that when you have a good man in your life, you treat him like crap. Taraji Henson in I Can Do Bad All By Myself was a great example of that. Angela Bassett in Meet the Browns was a great example of that. How Stella got her groove back was a great example of that. All those psycho chicks in Waiting to Exhale was a great example of that. So, I mean, this stuff is real, what we're talking about. We're just talking about it from a male perspective. Because trust me, if men don't know how to talk, I know how to talk. I know how to communicate. You know what I'm saying? Your man won't tell you what he's feeling. Trust me. Listen to me every night. I'll tell you what your man is thinking and what he's feeling. You know what I mean? And trust me. Believe me. Y'all should appreciate this because I'm telling you things that men don't want me to tell you. Let's be clear about that. You know what I'm saying? I'm giving up some secrets. Gerald is giving up some secrets. But it's real, and it's not right, but it's real. Now, this is a woman right here. She said, Dedan, I've been listening to all your shows while I've been at work. I can honestly say that I can understand the things that you say, and it all makes sense to me. I think when reading some of your statuses on Facebook in the past, I didn't really get the same understanding. So I'm definitely glad that I listened, and now I'm understanding. I say all that to say I'm using your advice currently, and I'm ready to apply it to my next situation. But my question is, where do you find these elite men? Enjoy your trip and your upcoming nuptials. Now, that's real talk. You know what I mean? This is a woman who I'm a little familiar with. I've heard a couple situations from her. She's not, she's had some bad experiences with men, but now she's self-reflecting. She's examining. She stopped pointing the finger. And she said, wow, this is what, I could possibly be doing to contribute to my situation. I'm using your advice, and I'm ready to apply it to my next situation. Now, she asked, I want to answer, this being Advice Monday, she said, where do I find elite men? And that's a question that I often get. And let me help you understand. Guess what? It's like we're like the A-team. You don't find us. We find you. You know what I mean? But the trick is, you have to position yourselves and be the type of woman that possesses the three things that all elite men look for. I talk about them every day. A great personality, not just an okay person, but the best personality that we've ever seen. You feel what I'm saying? And that's my fiance right there. Why y'all think I'm getting married? My fiance possesses all three of these qualities. You know what I'm saying? My fiance is gorgeous. I keep it real. She's gorgeous. She's not the most beautiful woman I've ever seen in my life. You know what I'm saying? I'm probably not the most handsome man that she's seen. It is what it is. But she has the three best qualities that I've ever looked for, I've ever seen in a woman. That y'all know. See, that's what y'all don't understand. The inside is more important than the outside, y'all. Don't get it twisted. Gorgeous woman. You look at the pictures for yourself. A great personality, a high level of respectability, and emotional availability. Those three things right there are key. I'm going to be real with y'all. A lot of y'all don't have all three. So to answer her question, she said, how do I find a good man? You don't. We find you because elite men, single elite men, are looking for women with all three of those qualities. The reason why so many successful black women are single is because the vast majority of them don't have all three. So these elite men, we're not going to settle. We're not just going to wife up somebody just for the hell of it. That's why so many women are single, because the vast majority of them don't have those three things, and the fact that elite men are rare. So once you guys get all three of those qualities, and we break down all those qualities, a lot of y'all think you're emotionally available, but you're having sex with somebody, so that disqualifies you right there. So, I mean, it's so much to it. We don't have time to go into all of them, but to answer that question, you focus on having those three things: a great personality, or I should say the best personality, a high level of respectability, and being emotionally available, not having sex with anybody. I mean, I don't even want to focus on the sex because emotional availability, it's so much, you know, and it's not just about sex, it's just a lot, which we talk about every day. There's a whole chapter on it in the book, Get It, What Women Need to Know But Don't Want to Hear. You know, and we'll find you. You have those things and we'll find you. Gerald, what are your thoughts about that question and that great example of a woman who's not afraid to self-reflect and self-examine?
I mean, that's pretty much it right there, Dedan. It's that simple. I mean, these men will find you. A great man will find you, but you have to be a great woman. The thing that messes a lot of women up is the fact that, you know, some of these men that they come across who they think are great men and really aren't great men, they're not looking for great women. They're looking for whores. They're looking for whores, and what they do is they come across you and they spit this game to you and make you think that you should be a certain type of way, or make you think that you have to have sex with him right away, things of that nature. And then you become a woman that's not the best woman to the good man who's coming along looking for great women, and if you can follow that. So it's just all about not falling for the lies and not falling for the games, and that's what we're going to say it every single night. I mean, the best way to not fall, to not become a victim, to not be dogged, is by just keeping your legs closed, because the truth of the matter is, I mean, if you're not having sex with a man, he can't dog you. And if you want to take it another way, then he can only dog you so much. He can't get into your body and just wreck you all, just bring you all, take you all to pieces. So, you know, just respect yourself, respect your body, and just be the best woman you can be, as Dedan said, and wait for that man to find you. Because if you're that good of a woman, you will be found, I mean, without a question.
And that's it right there. It's interesting. I'm looking in the chat room. I see everybody in the chat room. It's almost kind of amusing. And this is a great example of the large problem that's going on in today's society. If you're online, just look in the chat room. Look at the conversations. We're giving out some of the best information you feel possible. Probably some of the most best information that's ever been given. You know what I mean? And it really has changed and is changing lives all over the world. But yet you have certain people questioning, you know, totally irrelevant things. Rather than self-reflect, they're focusing too much on what makes an elite man. Everybody wants to, well, what makes an elite man? What makes you an elite man? What makes da-da-da? I mean, that stuff is irrelevant. The point is, if you want an elite man, I put it like this, and it's so much, we don't have enough time to talk about all that being an elite man encompasses. But the bottom line is, if you want to be with the man who is the best of the best of the best, you name it, that man has it. You feel what I'm saying? Put it like that. And my man CPT Calamity in the chat room said, he said it's more like, it's just an energy. It's just an energy that I have, that Gerald has, my man T. Smitty has. Very few men have it. That's why we are elite. You whatever you think, the qualities you can think of in a man that you want, trust me, we have them. That's what makes an elite man. That's just in a nutshell. But the best of the best of the best. You know what I mean? Instead of focusing on that, though, that's where women like to point fingers. They like to focus on things that focus on you. You focus on getting you together and less on what these men need to do. You feel what I'm saying? And then these men will find you. If you're asking what makes an elite man and what makes it, I guarantee you're most likely single. I guarantee you've had some issues in the past, because, you know what I mean? And it's okay. You know, it's okay to ask those questions, but just understand the effect that it's going to have. So I appreciate all that. I love the chat room. The chat room is crazy. I want it to look like that every night. Now, I want to look at, somebody wrote something in that I want to touch on. We get so much feedback. I love it. A woman said, Dedan, I don't dress like a hoe. And I see a couple calls real quick. I'm going to take a couple calls before we get out of here. But she said, Dedan, I don't dress like a hoe, but I have a few low-cut shirts that I wear and a few pairs of tight jeans. And since I started listening to your show, I decided that the next time I go out, I was going to wear appropriate clothes. So me and my daughter went to the gallery, and I had on my regular shirt with no cleavage out and jeans, which was not so tight, and I felt so stupid because I was surrounded by half-naked women getting all the attention that I wasn't getting. I struggled with this the whole time because I was out telling myself that in my mind, I don't fit in. And it felt weird, and that I should just run home and get my quote-unquote attention-grabbing attire. I made it through, and at the end of the day, I was so proud of myself. This is just the beginning for me, and I hope things get better. Thank you, Dedan, and I thank God for you and for your show, because it's such a blessing. And this is another great example of a woman who isn't interested in pointing the finger or playing the blame game, but she looked in the mirror. She looked at herself and said, I'm tripping. I want to dress like a hoe. I wanted to look like, you know, these young, fast-ass women out here. But after listening to your show, I put that stuff away, and I dress like a respectable woman. And I'm sure she's on the road to getting, you know, a good man. And that's how it goes. You know, it's unfortunate. Just look in the chat room. Look at my Facebook page. Look at the mentalities of some of these women, and it's an indication of what's going on a larger scale out here in this country. Everybody wants to debate. Everybody wants to play the blame game. Nobody wants to take responsibility for themselves. As a result, these elite men pass them over, and they wife up, you know, women who don't feel the need to debate and are more interested in making a happy home for their themselves and for their man. Gerald, what are your thoughts about that feedback?
You know, it's great feedback, and I'm glad that she was able to, you know, overcome that temptation to, you know, just basically be looked at as a piece of meat. Because, I mean, she was struggling with it. She wanted men to just, you know, look at her in a sexual manner. She was okay with that. And you know, I'm very glad that she was able to overcome that, more so because she said she had her daughter with her. And when you're a parent, when you're a mother, you have to set an example. You know, you carry yourself a certain way, and then your daughter will see the way that you carry yourself, and she'll carry herself accordingly. You don't want men looking at your daughter for as just a piece of ass, just somebody to have sex with. So you have to set the example, and I'm glad that she was able to do that, and I hope she continues to do it for her daughter's sake. Sometimes you have to look past yourself, and especially when you have kids, you have to set the example for them. You don't want men just coming at your daughter for sex. You know how it is, how it'll damage her emotionally, so you set the example and set the bar high. So I'm proud and glad that she was able to do that based upon the advice that we give.
Definitely. I see a call from the Pittsburgh area, from the 412 area code. Welcome to the Dedan Tolbert Show. From Pittsburgh, are you there? 412-242? Okay, maybe they just want to listen. I see a couple other calls. I see our caller from Delaware, 302. Welcome to the Dedan Tolbert Show.
Hi, Dedan. How are you?
Hey, how's it going? And I'm glad you called. I mean, it's just a great example of a woman who's been listening, going through a complete transformation. What are your thoughts about, you know, what we're talking about, how we've changed your life?
I think it's really great. I'm on the phone. I think it's really great, and I was talking to my sister-in-law today because she's going through some major things. She's not really my sister. She has a baby by myself, and she's going through some really wrong. And how to help me, how you just got to listen to what he's saying. He do this to me.
We're losing you a little bit. We're losing you a little bit. I think you got a bad connection.
Huh?
We were losing. You were going in and out for a second.
sorry, telling her that just basically that this man doesn't love her, and I went through it the same way, and I didn't want to believe it, and I fought it, but you just got to grasp that concept that somebody doesn't love you, and they wouldn't hurt you, just like a car. A man's going to take care of it. If he don't treat you like you treat his car, he does not love you.
Wow, that's a great, I mean, that's great, exactly, you know, and ladies, the way a man treats you, we get thousands of advice questions here. That's one of the reasons why I have to go to 3 hours a night, because I've gotten so many advice questions. You see, I just did a whole show with really not even doing any advice questions. I mean, imagine how many questions that are just waiting to be answered. That's why one of the reasons we're going to expand. But, you know, a lot of those questions are about, why is he treating me this way? Why did he do this? Why does this man do that? A lot of it is because of the attitude. And I'm going to break this stuff down as we move into the next level and just take this show to, you know, heights I've never seen before. You know, I'm going to break everything down: the attitude, the personality, the respectability, and the emotional availability. Those three things are what we talk about every night, because they're the main three things that elite men look for in a woman. That attitude. I just want to give a great example of that. I was in the Dominican Republic for a week, and honestly, my Spanish is crazy. I've been getting, I mean, I took it all my life, but I was never really fluent, and I just got such into the habit of, you know, hola, ¿cómo está? Like, I was just, everybody speaks to you there, all the women, even the men. It's just like hola, you know what I mean? It's no attitudes all like that. Everybody's friendly. So I'm, you know, and I'm saying that to beautiful women. It's like, hola, they giving you a beautiful smile, saying hola back and this and that. I mean, it was lovely. And then I come up on this all too familiar feeling, you know, that I'm used to getting from black women. I hate to say it, because again, I love my beautiful black women, but I'm just being real. A lot of them, they had this attitude. You know what I'm saying? I would even be like, hola, you know what I mean, to American women, just being friendly. That's just what you do when you're there. And they would literally just walk right by me and not even speak. Don't y'all? I mean, I can understand you doing it in America. That's just the culture. No, y'all don't speak. But I mean, you don't speak to strangers, people you don't know. But you're there, and that's blatantly what everybody does. And you would just have this attitude. I mean, not even say hello, not even give me a look. Just walk right by. I mean, why would somebody walk right by if somebody says hello to you? I mean, and these women, I mean, nothing against, you know, just how they look, but they were nothing compared to the level of women that were on that freaking island to be having a type of attitude. I'm like, what makes you think that you can walk by me and not even speak? So that was, to me, indicative of what goes on here in the States. Nobody wants a woman like that who won't even speak to you. And some of y'all listen like, wow, I do that. Yeah, I don't speak. To get what you've never had, you have to do things you've never done. If you're the type of woman who somebody just says hello to you and you walk right by and act like you didn't freaking hear them, you will be single. Whether you're single now or later, you will be single, because nobody wants a woman like that with that type of attitude. Gerald, I mean, it almost disgusted me. It almost made me uncomfortable. Like, I would literally avoid those women, because I was in paradise. So I didn't even want to experience, you know what I mean, that negativity, because it reminded me of being in Philly. I'm just being honest. So, and they were just black women, not even unattractive black women, but just that is exactly what goes on here in the States. And that's why so many black women are single, because so many black women have that exact attitude that I'm talking about. Nobody wants a woman like that. I don't care how good you look. Gerald, what are your thoughts on that?
And it's sad, man. You know, it's harder. It's actually harder to go out your way and be mean and just, you know, avoid somebody and not make eye contact and have that nasty look on your face. It's harder to do that than just to say hello and smile and keep moving. So, you know, keep it moving. A lot of times, I mean, women are going out of their way to be mean and think that they can just turn the niceness on someplace else, and it doesn't work that way. I mean, it's so crazy. You could be walking by the man who would treat you better than any other man in the world, the man who's meant for you, your husband. You could walk by that man and have that nasty look on your face, and he would just keep walking and think and just stereotype you and say, you know what, Look at the way she's looking. Look how nasty she's acting. I don't want to be with her. All because you don't want to smile and say hello. Everybody's not trying to come on to you. Everybody's not trying to get with you. Some people just are friendly people, nice. They just want to say hello. If you don't want to take it any further, you say your hellos and keep it moving. I mean, it's crazy. Don't go out of your way to be mean. I mean, that just makes you ugly throughout.
Right. And it's funny that, I mean, I want to just take it a step further because, I mean, that is definitely what happens. So many black women do that. And it's something that other races really don't do as much. I grew up around white people. I grew up around all types of races. It's a black thing. It is. I'm just being honest with you. That may be unpopular. It's an American black woman thing. And you freaking know it is. You know what I mean? Y'all have these attitudes. And not all black women, but I'm saying it's that type. You don't see that in other races. That's the only race that will walk right by you. You say hello, they keep walking, act like they don't see you. No other race does that. No, I mean, you're listening to this, you know what I'm saying is true. And once black women figure out why they do that, then they'll figure out why they're the highest rate. They have the highest single rate in the freaking world. And as a result, they have the highest HIV rate in the world. And I'm going to touch on that and tell you what the correlation is. Some of you say, well, what does HIV have to do with having some of these bad attitudes? Well, I'll tell you what it has to do with. A lot of these men, they will say, okay, like I mentioned earlier in the show, okay, you got an attitude. Gerald Howard touched on it. He said, look, y'all, we hold grudges. We don't forget how we approached you in the beginning. You had an attitude with us. Okay, cool. You still got a fat ass. I'm just going to hit it and never call you again. I've had conversations with men. I'm like, yo, what's good with the shorty you rapping to? Oh, no, she's cool. I'm like, all right, cool. You going to wife her up? Nah, I'm just going to hit it. As soon as I hit it, it's a wrap. I'm deleting her number right out my phone. I'm like, damn, for real, how come? Because she got a freaking attitude. She thinks she all that. No, I'm just cool. I'm just going to knock it off one good time and then keep it moving. I'll probably try to make a video or something just to show y'all, keep the memory. But after that, it's over. So, and that's real. It's not right, but it's real. So I say all that to say, black women, I mean, it's not, and through that casual sex, through that dismissive attitude that you guys give us, we're giving it right back to you. It's just on a different level. You dismiss us in the beginning, we'll dismiss you after we have sex with you. I'm just being real with you. That's what happens. That's why you have so many deadbeat dads. You feel what I'm saying? These men, some of them are stupid. They slip up. They just want to have sex with you, but they hit it raw. They're idiots. Then they get you pregnant. Then they definitely don't want a baby with you, so they disappear. A lot of them, they're hitting it raw. They give you HIV. You know what I'm saying? A lot of y'all let these men hit it raw. So, but it's a lot of times it stems from, that initial attitude. Because as soon as we meet you, if you have a great personality, we'll be like, okay, maybe she's wifey. But if you got a stuck-up attitude, but you still got a nice body, unfortunately, these men will have sex with you and never call you again. So that it is what it is. A lot of this stuff is really brought on yourselves. And I know that's not the Steve Harvey-like, advice that a lot of y'all have grown to love from America's relationship guy. But guess what? Things aren't getting better with that type of sugar-coated advice. Y'all need to hear the truth. You have an attitude, you will get, insert whatever sexual term you want to right there. You know what I mean? And I'm just being honest with you. That's what happens. Gerald, any last-minute words of wisdom?
Well, just because, this is the 4th of July weekend just passed, it just made me think about, it's crazy how time flies, because just this time last year, we were talking about how Steve McNeil was killed. I mean, it's been a whole year already. And just the thing I wanted to give the people is, think about what you do before you do it. Think about how it will affect your life, your legacy, because now every time somebody mentions Steve McNeil's name, his name is going to always be connected to the Kazemi lady. I can't pronounce it, but anytime I hear his name, I think of that lady. Fellas, ladies, you really have to think about your actions, because you never know what you may do that may be the last thing that you get to do, and that's how people are going to remember you. I'm sure Steve McNeil, he lived his life, and he never thought that he would die that way and always be remembered as an adulterer and somebody who was killed by a psycho lady. So, ladies and gentlemen, think about your actions and think about the repercussions that will come from your actions before you actually do those things, because that may be the last way you're remembered.
Wow, that's very insightful. That's a great way to end the show. I want to do this, man. I want to just thank everybody for tuning in. We've had some fun tonight. We've kept it real, did a couple of advice situations, but understand, again, for the first-time listeners, this is in no way, an attempt to, bash women or degrade women or make you guys feel less than any other race or anything like that, but it's really a call to action and to encourage you guys just to focus on the positives in life. The best, and I really truly experience this, the best things in life are free. They're the things that don't cost anything. You know what I mean? Like, you don't have to have a Gucci bag or have an education or, a great bank account, savings account, or anything material to make a great woman. We don't care about that stuff. You understand what I'm saying? We care about three things, which I named earlier, and those three things are free. The best women in the world are not the most beautiful women. They're the women with the best personalities. It just so happens that I experienced a lot of women with beautiful women with great personalities. So, like the icing on the cake. So, understand it, ladies. And so don't take this the wrong way. Just focus on being the best and friendliest and most humble woman you can be. And the woman asked earlier, she said, well, how can I find a good man or an elite man? You do that, and I promise you those men will find you. So thank y'all for listening. If you haven't already, get your copy of What Women Need to Know But Don't Want to Hear. It's available right now at DedanTolbert.com. I guarantee it will change your life. Get Gerald's book, When No Means Yes. I just finished it. Phenomenal book, off the hook novel, one of the realest books I've ever read. Definitely captured the true essence of college life. And, get that at GeraldJHoward.com. And, tune in tomorrow night also. There's so much I didn't even get a chance to talk about tonight, but make sure you tune in. Got a couple. I see that question you sent me, Gerald. That's a good one. So we'll talk about that on Barbershop Talk Tuesdays. And if you thought tonight was good, every day this week, I'm going away next week again, so trust me, this whole week I'm putting my foot into every night this week, and it's going to be one of the best. Thank y'all for listening. Add me on Facebook. Follow me on Twitter. Everything. MySpace. Everything is Dedan Tolbert. You can check out my Ask Dedan video blogs at DedanTolbert.com. They're pretty much everywhere circulating the internet, thousands of hits, so I appreciate you guys checking them out. And I'm going to holler at y'all tomorrow night. Peace.